here we go. So we're about to play High Frontier 3rd edition. This is Vaughan's set. We're at Vaughan's place. He's the guy that's totally learnt this and taught it to me.
Not totally learnt it.
It's not totally learnt it, but he's more or less there with it. And he did it with the original 1st edition rulebook. Here's the tiny little 1st edition box. Look at that. Crazy. We were just looking at comparison actually, because this is the 1st edition board. Is that part of an expansion, that second board, Vaughan?
The second board, there was an expansion that came out with the 1st edition, and then with colonisation there was a new board, so I've got both of them.
Ah, right, okay. And we're looking here, the colours don't match up quite, do they? And it's slightly off.
That's the expansion of the 1st edition.
Right.
It was the other board. It doesn't matter because it's pretty much the same. There's a few additions. And then, this is larger again.
And then we've got this massive board, haven't we?
And then just flip it again to show.
So we have to flip it. Yeah, let's put these out of the way.
With care.
With care, yeah, because we're a little bit concerned about the joints on these, on this big, large board. I think you'll be very careful with it. It's a very big board. If you're not careful, it'll tear on the folds and stuff. But there we go. It's a masterpiece, that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Just looks fantastic. That would make one great poster, wouldn't it? Like framed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so we're going to set up now for High Frontier. Here we are, High Frontier 3rd edition. This is Vaughan's game, and he's going to do a little explanation now. Goal of the game, little tiny rules overview, because playing it's the best way in it, so nobody glazes over trying to learn the rules. So where you go? So
we'll be playing the basic game, which I've never actually played before. We usually go straight to advance. Set in the not too distant future, the idea is that your governmental space agencies colonising space. You want these sites represent asteroids and planets, and you want to build a rocket, get out there, and use the resources to be found in space. There's certain technologies that can only be built in space, and the winner is the player with the most victory points at the end.
Is there still a cool auction mechanism for buying the ship parts and stuff? Is that still
basic?
That still happens in this, because that's pretty cool, isn't it?
You win the game at the end. The idea is to build so many factories. These cubes represent your factories. When you get your rocket up there, you make a claim on a site, be it a planet or an asteroid, which will come with different kinds of resources, which will allow you to build different techs. When you make the claim, you pop a claim disc down. You need to get refineries up there to build your factories, which then utilise the resources to build these different kind of technologies that will let you go further out into the solar system. You can also send up a crew and make a colony. When you build your tech from your factory, you automatically build a freighter which will move back to Earth with that tech, and you can sell it at Earth for a profit, or you can use it yourself as a patent. And these are the patents which allow you to build.
Can't see them on camera, but we can bring them over a bit. Yeah. They're just off the cards. Vaughan's got this lovely massive table which we need for this game, but the cards are off to one side.
So with the basic game, you're just playing with the thrusters, the refineries and the robots. The thrusters you're going to want in your rockets. You need thrusters really to move unless it's a solar powered rocket. I don't know if you can see on the board, there are these what are called heliocentric zones, and they power your solar powered craft. Otherwise you've got chemical burners for thrusters to power your rocket through space.
It all adds weight, doesn't it?
Yeah. A lot of the game is about planning your journeys and your missions. It does require a lot of planning. It's quite deep gameplay, even probably from the basic gameplay. The Robonauts, you probably want to take one of them up with your rocket, because these are the guys that are going to do your work.
Like excavate for minerals and stuff.
Yeah, there's a term called ISRU, in-source resource utilisation, and they can go up with lasers and fire without landing on the asteroids, or they can land on the planets. You can have buggies with them, but they look for valuable resources out in space. And then your refineries are what you're going to use to build your factories. You do also start with a crew card. There's certain limitations in the game which represent difficulty in training astronauts and mission control, and also the cost of planning a mission. So you only ever have one rocket in play, which some people don't seem to like. I think it makes sense really to me. You don't really see countries launching 2 rockets at once, do you? It costs a lot of money. What else? So you've got your crew as well. The idea of the game is to score the most victory points. The game ends in a 2-player game when how many factories was it? 4, when 4 factories are built.
We probably won't get up to that one.
No. Basically, score points of glories, adventures. With the basic game, these are the yellow-sided cards. There's different backs actually. And so that's a space pharmacy venture. And there are science sites on the board with little microscopes on them. And when you claim 3 S sites, you build the space pharmacy, which nets you some advantages and 3 victory points. And then there are glory cards as well. First player to land humans on Uranus.
Interesting.
Or Mars, or...
There's probably quite a bit of digging to be done on Uranus, isn't there?
Yeah.
Be there a while.
So, glories and ventures net your victory points as well. The ventures, there'd be certain benefits to building them, such as the space elevator. We won't go into that too much. What I didn't mention was that the card that represents your crew also represents your space agency. So I'm playing NASA, Marcus, Shimizu, Japan, and they all come with their own,
commonly known as orange,
advantages. There's a radical side now on the back, which you can choose to play. It depends on player agreement at the start of the game. We're just playing the standard space agency. We're going to start the game. A lot of the game at the start is just auctioning for patents. The cards with the refineries and the robots represent patents, which you auction for with the players. When you own the patent,
just leave this. It is coming back up.
When you own the patent, it's only you that can build that part, and that's how you're going to build your rockets. So the initial part of the game is actually quite slow, but there's a lot of planning involved, because the more you play the game, the more you know what you want to do and what missions you've got in mind, and you need to build a specific rocket. I don't know how many different combinations of rockets there are, and in the advanced game that gets more head-wrecking when you start considering radiators and things. But as I say, we're only playing the basic game, so we're going to start now.
Can I need my 4 water. It must have come off as we moved the table. Yeah. These. Thanks. So yes, we start with 4 water tokens on our waste WT depot. What's water depot?
Water tank depot.
Start with 4 water tanks. There we go. Boom. Done. Just on the board. That's is that set up? There's nothing goes on this.
No, that's your net thrust. Only when you've got a rocket. That don't worry about that for the time being.
Okay.
So if we say, I don't know, do you want me to go first? Or?
You go first. We're starting the game now, proper. Right.
So there's only 4 things you can do at the start of the game, and that would be can't even move rockets or anything. Income, research, free market, and boost. So we're going to do a lot of income steps and research to begin with. So the research is the auctioning for the patent cards. So I need to have a look.
Do you want me to bring these over? Yeah. So set these up on the back of one of the player boards just for ease for the camera.
So there's a nice thruster.
So these were shuffled up and put into the
Yeah.
3 piles, weren't they? So you're not allowed to see what's underneath until it's
it
revealed.
goes for auction.
Yeah.
When auctioning, any player can match your, because I'm the first player, I'm the phasing player, any player can match your bid, but if it's a tie, I'll win as the phasing player, so it doesn't really make sense to do that. If I lose as the phasing player and Mark gets, let's say I'm going to bid for this anyway,
Which is what?
the ablative plate thruster,
Yeah.
and I'll bid, you can bid 0, I'll bid 1 water tank for it.
Okay, you can have that 1 water tank. I'm not going to bid it up. Not at this
So if
stage.
Mark had won with 2 water tanks, he would have had to pay me. Well, because I win as the phasing player, I pay that water tank into the
General
bank.
supply. Yeah.
Water is the reason there's water tanks. It represents something like, I can't remember what the game was. So something like millions of dollars anyway. Water is really valuable in space. But later on in the game, it becomes less valuable as you get more resources.
Can't you can actually gather water from planets, can't you? Even asteroids, can't you? You can resource some.
So I've got the makings of a rocket there, but nothing at the moment. So that's just a patent that I've got. Goes into my hand. Got this player board here. Hand cards go to the right. Rocket stack to the left. Don't worry about that for the time being. Can have a maximum of 3 cards in my hand. The starting card doesn't count, so the space agency and crew card doesn't count, so I can have 2 more patents at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think it's different for you because your sugars are.
Oh, shimmers. So what am I allowed? What is it?
Bidding auctions.
Skunk Works.
Any number of hand cards. Yeah. I can't bid once I've got 3 more cards in any auctions or start an auction.
Yeah. Oh yeah, may bid in auctions with any number of hand cards. Yeah, okay.
So that was my go. That's what 1 player turn, and I took the research action. So I presume you're going to take the research action now.
Start trying to cobble a rocket together. I'm liking the look of the thruster because it's got a mass of 0, which is, in my experience of very limited experience of playing this game twice, I've always ended up with an extremely heavy rocket. So as soon as I see mass 0 for something, I'm thinking that's not bad. But
well, just the red is for the advanced game. We're using the white in the left corner.
Okay, so
it's still 0.
Still 0. Yeah, that's a good point. This is, and it's got a mirror steamer, so that I guess that works off some sort of solar, does it? Down at the bottom of this blue pyramid.
Yes, it's got afterburner.
Yeah.
Solar power, and that's your thrust, your net thrust, your starting thrust. That's the fuel consumption.
So that's actually something that's going to power my rocket up into space. Is this thruster?
Yes. Yeah.
And a mass of 0, so yeah, I'll bid 1 water tank for that.
Okay, it's yours. I'm not bidding.
So I pay the 1 water tank into the stock, into the general supply. There it is. And I'll take that thruster.
So if you want to, so that's research. Don't you want to stop it now until, because we'll be doing this for a while and you run out of.
Okay, yeah. So what we'll do is we're going to go through and keep this auction going until we've basically, one of us has made a rocket, I guess.
Yeah, and then we'll explain these things like mass and thrust. I haven't explained that at the moment. Yeah.
So we'll skip forward to when that happens, and then explain what we've got and why we've got it and what it can do.
We played a series of research rounds.
And we were very gentle with each other.
Yeah.
Because normally there's a lot of water tanks spent in the auction, and it can go up to 2 or 3.
It can get quite competitive.
But we were letting, because this is basically, we haven't played it for a while, have we? We're playing the basic game. We just said, oh, you have that card, and you can bid 0 water tanks, and that happened in 2 or 3 occasions, didn't it?
Yeah.
So basically, we've ended up with the basic game. We've ended up with a thruster, a refinery, and a Robonaut each, haven't we?
Yeah.
If you spent too much of your water tanks, I forgot this step. How do you get more water tanks to bid? You can do a
income. You only have one action per turn, as I was saying. We get income, free market, boost, and research really at the start.
How much do you get for income?
For an income, so I'll take an income step now, which is you just take 2 water tanks from the bank.
Yeah.
Which represents different things in the game. As I said, millions of US dollars. It's extremely valuable in space. This is also how you hydrate your rocket and fuel your rocket. So when you have got a rocket in low Earth orbit, you want to use these to fill up your fuel tanks.
So you've done an income step for 2 water.
So that was an income step.
They're water tanks. So I think I'm going to do the same. When does this sequence stop? What's to stop us just keep going and filling up with water?
It's a 2-player game, isn't it? With more players it'd be different. But we can just keep doing this.
But what would stop this from happening? What would bring this to an end as just filling up each turn on water?
Nothing to stop you doing it.
Okay.
You can do it indefinitely, but in a competitive game, it's all about time.
Somebody will get their rocket off and start launching it, and would be on catch up.
Because each game turn represents a year. So while you carry on taking an income step, I can start boosting a rocket and start getting out in space and making
start putting the flag on the planet.
Yeah. So it's a space race, isn't it? It's a space race. So I would take.
And the red ones were 5, aren't they?
Yeah.
The red discs are as though they're 5 water tanks.
I'll take 2 more, another income step.
I'll do the same. Build up a bit of water.
So, I don't know if you want to stop it.
Thanks. No, we'll just keep going.
I need 10 to boost mine.
It doesn't take long, does it? 2, 4.
Just to show, I'll do a free market step.
Is that selling a card?
Yeah. And I'll sell my Robonaut on the free market.
It's only just bought it.
So that goes to the bottom of the Robonaut stack. So that's another patent that's back out there. Because these recycle, we don't shuffle these. And I get 5 water tokens for this. 2, 3, 4, 5.
You just took a red?
No. Oh, could have took the red chip. Yeah, good idea. These represent 5 water tokens.
It's good job I know how to play this game. I don't. Just little steps, right. So, I'm quite happy with what I got. So I'll just take 2 water, please, as an income. Thank you. Somebody revving a car out there. It's a glorious sunny day, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Outside. And Vaughan lives in a lovely cottage overlooking fields with horses, and what else did we get in the fields?
And the motor museum.
And an old abandoned motor museum, isn't it?
I think they're turning it into a nuclear bunker at the moment.
Yeah. It may be turned into a nuclear bunker to ward against Mr. Trump's ongoing endeavours with North Korea. Yeah.
Or
could be handy.
The threat from Europe.
Or the threat from Europe. Yeah, the perceived threat from Europe by the numpty that's also known as Theresa May. Yeah.
What I'm going to do now is the other operation that we mentioned is boost. And each of these, in the basic game, these cards have mass. And for every, so that's worth 3 mass. So for every point of mass, you pay 1 water token to boost them into low Earth orbit. So the total mass there is 7, plus my crew, the crew have a mass of 1, is 8. So I'll pay 8 water tokens to boost the refinery, the thruster, into low Earth orbit where they can be assembled into a rocket.
So they're actually on the launch pad now, aren't they?
these go from my hand into, I don't know if we can show on you, show it on mine, the player board, the low Earth orbit stack. So they're going to be sat there now rather than the right hand side.
Are they thematically on a pad now, on the launch pad?
They're launched into low orbit.
Oh, they're actually launched now, is it?
Yeah, this is I don't know, supposedly a thing they'll do in the future. They'll assemble, rocket parts in space. Whoops, got it on the Indian power set. Got the black side as well.
So that's actually been launched up into lower Earth's orbit, has it?
Yeah, and that's a boost operation. So they're the 4 operations that you're doing at the start of the game: income, free market, boost, and research. Just want to stop it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, we can just talk through it. I can soon add to it. So the income was doing an income step, getting 2 water.
Yeah.
Selling one of the cards you've previously bought is for 5 water, which is one of the red discs, or 5 blue if you want to. What were the other steps? Of course, bidding in the auction and getting a card, which is 0 or 1 to 2 or 3 water. And the 4th thing was cobbling your rocket together and putting it from your hand into lower Earth's orbit.
Yeah.
But you have to pay the water to boost it.
Yeah.
Which is the water to boost it is determined by is it the mass?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would like to do the same. So if I've got a mass of 3, I've got a mass of 5, plus this is my crew, isn't it?
6,
which is 1.
Yeah.
Are all the crew 1 on all the teams?
Yeah. It just represents the life supports as well.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got a mass of 6. That's not bad, is it? What was your mass total?
8.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, that's without a Robinaut as well.
Yours is 8 without a Robinaut.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got the whole. Right, so I'm going to put mine into lower Earth's orbit. So I have a mass of 1, 2. Sorry, I'm looking at the white side. It's the white side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, isn't it? Mass of 6. So I have to pay 6 water.
Excuse me.
3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. To boost it. This is so much simpler doing all these steps than the advanced games we were playing with expansions and stuff. Because as I remember, everything, it was a brain wrecker because everything you got required something else to make it work. And that something else, guess what? That required something else to make it work. So all of a sudden you had a rocket that was just so heavy.
Your mass goes up and up and up, yeah.
And your brain starts hurting. But yeah, it's just it's a right little puzzle, isn't it? So more so. Yeah. But so this goes now onto
low Earth orbit stack.
So which is on the left hand side there.
You can make it as a.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Leo stack is the low Earth orbit stack. Yeah, there we go. So I've got mine there. So I guess it's your turn now, isn't it? We're both hovering up above the Earth, are we? In some sort of facility that then puts these rockets together. So the rockets have not gone up as a rocket, they're
just up there. When you've got all the parts that you need, that's where you want to turn it into a rocket stack. I want a Robinaut, yeah. So you can if you want, that's a free action now, cargo transfer. And basically you're transferring cards from one stack to another. So you can transfer them to your rocket stack, which is to the left of your game board, and then you put a rocket on the board representing your rocket in low Earth orbit.
Yeah.
So,
which is here,
you can do that now if you want to.
I think I'm going to.
Yeah. Because there's no events in this game, so you won't get like pad explosion or anything like that.
Which is in the expansions, isn't it? So, is it you to go first then? Because I had my go.
No, that's a free action.
A free action.
So if you look on your board there, free actions, cargo transfer.
Oh yeah, okay. It's all on here, isn't it? Yeah, cargo transfer, home orbit, refuel, liquidate, jettison, decommission, discard, build, disband, space colonies, claim glory, and ventures and withdraw marker. Okay. Well, here we go, Leo, low Earth orbit. There we go. So, we've got a rocket there.
Rocket in space, first one.
Yeah.
I'm going to start a research turn, and I'm going to bid for this Robinaut, this solar pumped MHD Exiplex laser.
Said perfectly.
Yeah. Which does have lasers, so that can prospect asteroids without landing on them.
It's G2.
Yeah, look at the mass on it.
Or mass of 5. Oh.
So there you go. 0 water tanks for that.
Yeah.
You bidding?
Yeah, you could have that for 0 water tanks.
So we're playing nice.
Yeah, if we played more competitive, certainly with some people that we game with, there would be nothing going for 0, would there?
No.
No.
So that's for 0. So that's your go.
It's my go. So really, I want to get this rocket moving now, don't I?
So you'll need to. That's a free action.
Yeah.
The home orbit refuel.
Right.
So for every water tank,
I've got left. Oh, have I got enough?
but what you need to do, let's go back a step actually.
Yeah.
Now he's got a rocket in space.
Yeah.
If we can show the camera.
Yeah. Mike board. That's what you have to. Oops.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's.
Now watch these discs there. There we go.
Can you see it well from
I
that?
think so. Yeah.
Its mass is 6, so you need to put a blue token on there.
Oh,
I
of
don't know if
course.
you want to use one of these.
I've got these. That's all right. So blue on number 6.
Oh, no, that's for a different game. No.
Oh, okay.
So put that there.
Oh, I see. One then what?
So that's the mass of the rocket.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually use a clear disc only because they are transparent. And then give me your other rocket. You're going to be using water fuel, so give me a blue.
Blue. Yeah.
So that means that its fuel tanks are dry. There's no fuel in that rocket at the moment. So now if you do a home orbit refuel, for every water tank you spend, you fill up a fuel tank. So if you spend one, it'll go from 6 to 7 and so on. You can spend as many as you need to with that one, with the home orbit refuel.
Yeah. So what are my options now? What to do so that is representing this, is it, or the state?
Yeah.
The state that this
That's
is
showing. This is your fuel strip, and that is showing that you've got a Mass 6 rocket with water fuel, because that's what we start the game using anyway, and that the tanks are empty because that's sat on the mass marker. So it can never go down below that. And as you fuel it, you follow the red lines up. As you spend fuel, you follow the black lines.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's actually a lot simpler than the other fuels.
Yeah. So what are my options now? What can I do with this rocket that I've got in low Earth orbit at the moment?
You can do for your action this turn. You can do now. We've got a rocket in space. Yeah, we're doing more than just basic operations now. So now, throughout the whole game, in a turn, you can perform a rocket move, a freighter move, any free actions, and one basic operation. We've just been doing one basic operation. So now Mark's got a rocket, he can do one rocket move, a basic operation, and any free actions, which are listed in the game. We've done a few, like home orbit refuel. So yeah, so what he needs to do first is fuel the rocket, and then he'll be able to move it.
So how do I fuel it?
By spending the water tanks.
Can I still do income steps, or is that gone?
Yeah, that's it with one basic operation. You can do that first if you want.
I think I will, and get some more water,
Yeah.
please. Yeah.
So, an income step for 2 water tokens.
Thank you. So, yeah.
That should all be to the right there now.
Oh, right,
if you want
okay.
to put them.
Oh yeah, and then might be over there. It's a good idea to leave it there because I don't think it's in the way at the moment.
So, how many fuel tanks are you going to fill?
I can fill up to 6. It's dry, isn't it? So
this rocket at the moment is classed as Scout class. There's so many classes of rockets: Wisp, Probe, Scout, Transport.
Why is it classed as Scout class? Because of where it is on the.
Yeah.
I've got you. So basically, how much water's in there is its limitations basically of how.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's only feasible of being a Scout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I spend all 5.
Yeah.
I move this up now.
Follow red lines.
Red lines. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to put me on 11.
Yes, and it'll be Transport class.
Transport class.
He says -1. We'll explain that when he actually moves the rocket.
Yeah. So this little orange rocket here now is transport class.
Yes. Yeah.
Now what can I do?
So you've done your basic operation. You can move your rocket now.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you move your rocket, you work out its net thrust.
Is vertical movement allowed?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah. Right.
So to work out its net thrust.
Yeah. Yeah.
It starts with its starting mass, which was 6. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, incidentally, 2 nights ago, I went outside to lock up. This is only the second time that I've ever seen it. I've seen a meteorite.
Oh, did you?
About space, yeah. The sky's been brilliant all week, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Beautiful, fantastic weather here in England. And I was just admiring the sky. I went to lock up the shed, just check the shed, late at night it was. And I looked up and I thought, the sky is so clear and the stars, and just literally 20 seconds of looking up and you're gazing at a fantastic sky, and a flame just came like a missile, just disappeared over the houses. And I've only ever seen it once before, which is a meteorite, isn't it? A shooting star, same thing. Isn't it?
Yeah.
And
just a bit of debris.
Yeah, a bit of debris. And I seen a better one that was larger and more flames about 20 years before when I was doing taxi driving in Chester and Lawton. So that's it. Yeah, that's interesting. Space. Told the kids, I said, seen a meteorite last night, and they just went, oh, cool. That was it.
Yeah.
Well, it's only the second one I've ever seen. I said, how many have you seen?
So you don't move both of them. You just move this because this is representing your fuel. That stays there.
Oh,
so that's the mass. That's the dry mass of your rocket. When it comes back to that shows that you're dry. You've got no fuel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. That's just the marker, isn't it? Yeah.
So you can move your rocket now.
Excuse me 1 second. Yeah. Am I experiencing weightlessness? Yeah. Am I that far?
Oh yeah. Your crew are floating around.
Nice.
So this is your net thrust. Sorry. That's your net thrust. 5.
Yeah, 5 because it's on the card in the
yeah.
in the blue triangle there. In the yellow, I've got a net thrust of 5. What's the 4 for?
It's fuel consumption.
Oh, okay.
This little arrow means you can take benefit of beam power. Nobody's got it. That's certain players can assist you and add +1. If your card has got this symbol, the push symbol, but he's not going to get the advantage of that. This little flame symbol means you can use afterburners,
which has got a 1 in it on there.
Yes, you have to spend 4 fuel. You have to spend your fuel consumption once, and you get +1 to your thrust. But what you do when you move your rocket is you move through these magenta burns. So how many burns you can move through in a turn is decided by your thrust, which starts at 5. It's transport class, so that's -1.
Because it's heavier now.
Yeah. So they have 4. You've got a thrust of 4.
Mm-hmm.
I take it if you've got different thrusters on board, which he has, you can choose which thruster you use. So at the moment, you are in this Venus heliocentric zone. You could use this thruster for a +1.
Why am I in that zone? Is that because if we take the ring round, is that?
Yeah. Well, it's this one actually, isn't it? Sorry. Beg your pardon, wrong one. No thrust, you're in the Earth heliocentric zone. makes sense. You're in low Earth orbit. So I'd use this one to begin with.
The one with the 5.
Yeah. So his net thrust is 5, and it's just -1 for the fuel that he's carrying.
So 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens now?
I've
I've got a net thrust of 4.
Yeah.
Thrust of 4.
Yeah. So that means you can move 4 burns. You need to decide where you want to go.
Yes.
There are coloured routes on the board with signposts. They're just for beginners really, to assist you in planning journeys. That's the rainbow track from low Earth orbit.
That's not a bad idea for me to do that first of all. But these radiation sites, what happens with these?
We're not playing with radiation. It's the basic.
So just ignore them.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about the radiation.
So if I was going, so I'm in low Earth orbit.
Yeah.
I guess here is high Earth orbit.
Yeah.
That counts as one step, does it?
Oh, that's a burn.
Yeah, that's one.
So so this counts as your TMP, thrust movement point. Net thrust, he's got 4 thrust movement points from that modified net thrust.
So I've used
So
one.
he's used 1, and now you have to spend 4 fuel. So what he does now is he follows the black lines, and he's 1, 2, 3, 4.
So it's going on like that chart, which makes sense of the chart straight away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So even though I spent 4 fuel, I was on. Let's count it back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Was I on 11?
Yeah.
I've actually gone down from 11 to 9 because of this neat little chart, the way it works. Yeah, and it's even got the halves here, hasn't it?
Yes.
What's the half? So if I said, how would I end up on a half? What would that?
Just.
It's got quarters. Well,
if your
7.
fuel consumption was 3,
yeah,
you would have finished there.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
And that would mean you got. You'd only used half a tank of fuel.
So it gets pretty expensive quickly, doesn't it? Yeah. Where's my nearest way of getting water to refuel that rocket? Landing on a planet.
Probably the moon.
Yeah. Got Venus here. Where's the moon here now? Can you see it?
Yeah, lunar.
Where is he? Oh, of course, yeah.
So these are the sites of the moon.
So that's where I want to head for.
Yeah.
Is this the most direct here, and then here, and then here?
Yeah.
So another step.
Well, that's not. That's
just radiation. It's not going to happen. So go to geo, which is what's geo stand for? Summit Earth orbit. General, gorgeous. Gravitational.
I made that up.
Gravitational Earth orbit. Do you think so? Possibly. Anyway, that's where we are. So I need to spend another how many?
So you spent 1 movement point, didn't you?
Yeah.
You spend another movement point, and that is 4 more fuel. I don't think you're going to make it.
Probably not going to make it. This is high frontier, 4. By the way. Yeah, I'm not prepared enough. I'm not going to. Hang on. Now, if I spend, what's this L1 for?
Right. The clear L spaces are Lagrange points.
Ah, Lagrange.
If you want, you can pivot in them, but it costs fuel. It costs 2 thrust points and then double the fuel, so it costs you 8 fuel, so you can't do it. So you can wait there and you can turn for free. You can't reverse your rocket mid-move either, and you can turn for free next go.
Okay.
But then you will need lander fuel of equal to the site.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What can
Equal
I do
to the
now?
site
I'm not going to do this, am I?
No.
Damn.
And this is High Frontier.
Welcome to High Frontier.
Yeah.
It's given a true reflection, certainly, of our game plays, isn't it? So really, to avoid this catastrophe, I should have took on more water, should I, to start with? Would have made me heavier, though, wouldn't it? It's a balancing act.
It would have made you heavier, but do you think you might have wanted more tanks?
There's nothing I can do now to... Well, am I just going to lose this rocket to space, am I? Is it going to come space debris?
You could decommission it, so it goes back to your hand. That's a free action.
Thematically, how does that work?
You just start it from scratch.
Like it didn't happen?
That just becomes space junk, and
Yeah.
then you build again.
Yeah.
Or you could start an outpost stack. So leave it in space to be rescued.
Yeah. And utilise it again.
It's just I don't know. That's part of the gameplay as well, about creating outpost stacks, and because of the mass of different things. Real
brain burner.
Yeah, even the basic game, isn't it?
Yeah, because I thought I've got a good chance of getting to a planet there.
Is there another way you could land on the moon?
I don't think there is there? I'm going to have to come here and then...
Yeah, there is.
Is
Where
there?
you do.
What, like crash land on it?
No, your crew could use the chemical burners, but even so, it's the size.
Yeah.
So your rocket needs more thrust than its weight. So you would need a thruster of 10
Right.
to land for free.
So what do you recommend in this situation that I do with it? So I've just not got enough water, have I, to...
You're asking me now, I'm not that good, don't know the game that well.
No.
All I'd do is decommission it.
Let's decommission it then. So does it come off the board now?
Well, you can actually no, because you can't decommission your crew. You've got crew there. So you'd have to start an outpost stack, you'd have to rescue your crew.
Okay.
Or other players can rescue crew.
But yeah, I can make an unmanned craft go up and rescue the crew off there.
Yeah.
And continue. So that's what I'm going to have to do, isn't it? Yeah?
Yeah.
So how do we do that? How do we go about doing that?
So
Decommission.
you can decommission them. So start an outpost stack.
Okay, yeah.
Might figure yellow ring. Oh yeah, yellow ring for you. Orange. Why does it say yellow ring?
Oh yeah, well, it's
player colours then.
yeah. So put that there. That's my outpost. So that's what these little rings are for. If anybody wanted to know.
Yeah.
That's what we're thinking anyway. It's an outpost.
He's
gone as he's just space debris, unfortunately. And these are back in my hand.
Yeah.
And that's my turn. Very successful.
Right, wasn't it?
Yeah, let's see what Vaughan does.
Right, I'm going to go for research again, and I'm going to bid on...
Like everything in life, it goes to prove that preparation is everything. Isn't it? Setting your stall out.
I'm going to bid on this.
Keep your powder dry and your pepper hard. That was like a saying on the building sites. Something to do with Brick Lane, I think. Cement.
So building on this Robinaut.
Yeah.
0.
You're bidding 0 for it. Well, I'm not in a great position to bid anything because I don't have anything.
Yeah. So that's mine.
Yeah.
And that's my go. It's your go.
I'm going to definitely have to do an income step.
2. Or
yeah, just 2, please.
keeping hold of the stuff. You could do a
I know I could
free
do
market.
Do you know what? I might do that actually. Refinery. Yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to sell that, and I'll get 5 then, aren't I? Which is what's called as a free market, isn't it?